What's up YouTube? My name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. Something's been off again. I went home last night and did the video and I was scrubbing through the footage and everything else, and as I picked this up, I found that the O-ring that sits between the sump and the oil pump bracket, basically I picked it up, it fell off, and I just stuck the sump back on. So the sump's come off. And he's all been refitted and blah. I've just got a screw in each corner holding it on at the minute. Reason being is there's loads of little brackets and stuff, like there's one that goes around here and, you know, holds the pipe and everything else. It's just easier to see once it's on the bike as to which bolt goes where and which bracket goes to it, basically. So I'll go around and put the proper ones in and then torque it down when it's on the bike. Here I've just put my pickup back in place. So he's all buttoned up and I'm just shoving the covers on now. It's nice to be able to stick covers on instead of just pulling everything off. But we is getting there. If I can, I really do want to get this done today. I really want to get it done, but we'll just have to see how we go. And then I've still got to get the bloody thing back in the bike, and I've still got to put all the exhaust and the oil coolers and radiators and bodywork and everything else on. So today's Wednesday. I'm not convinced I'll be riding it this week, and I'm on holiday next week. And at the end of the week anyway, I've got to give Jack the front fairing, you know, the top fairing, and the tank to repaint. So, and I've got to repair that before I give it to him, because a bit of it is sitting on over there. I don't know. I've made a hell of a lot of progress in a couple of days, I can tell you that. But am I going to get it all done? I don't know. I'm not so sure on that one. Right, where's my thing? Is he that one? You're not that one, are you? No, didn't think you was. There we go. Right, I might as well shove the oil filter in. So, new O-ring on the bottom plate. There's an O-ring on the pin, or the bolt, or banjo, whatever you want to call it. Come on. Oh, don't be a cock. Just come off. Oily fingers will do. So we can go on there. The thing is, I might as well shove it all in now, because it's not like you're gonna, on this setup anyway, it's not like you've got to pre-fill the filter and all that. It's just like one of these cartridge type jobbies. So it can go in the bottom and get pressed in like that. Sweet. And then the oil filter. Right, so he's on. Then the cap, and then the spring, and then that whole lot gets shoved. Oh, I can see what the trouble's going to be now. The spring's just going to come off, isn't it? You are as well. You might be going in later on. Let's try tipping the engine up. Come on, click. Well, nothing's moving, which is cool. Well, it's not. I want it to click. There we go. Bloody hell. Right, there's no way you're doing that without making a stupid tool. Just so you know. And I did make him snug. Come on, come out. There we go. It's just if it's loose, I think you stand a chance of marring stuff up because this is only alley. But I think we're all right there. Right, so he's done. Right then, now I can do that. Oh, what did I take that off for? Oh, bloody hell. Right, so he's not going anywhere. Right, so let's right, so that's this one. You're going to go up now, aren't you? Right, so that's that. Alternate. Ooh, I thought I was going to go then. Alternator starter clutch, drive socket, bolt, 18 foot-pounds. 18 foot-pounds. And the cuss drive is 43. Alright, we need that lot in a minute. I really haven't got that many more bits left. It's awesome! You're probably one of them. Might be one of them. We'll grab that one as well. Just cause. Right then, so clutch. Since I've had it all apart, basically the clutch plates have just been sitting in a very oily bag. Basically I didn't want them, you know, drying out or anything else. But with all that lot assembled, this is pretty much just an assembly job. There is no extra thick steel, it's just shove them on. You know, steel and then, oh hello. There we go. Right. So, don't really matter where I start, but come on. Do you go in that one? Yes, you do. So it's like friction plate, steel, like that, friction plate. And steel. Rinse and repeat until you've got none left, basically. That's the last steel, and then the last friction plate, you just move it over so it's in these slots, not those slots. So that's all the pack back in, and I've got a very oily thumb. I need some new gloves. Right then. I hate wearing gloves, especially when it comes to changing them, because your hands get all sweaty and then it's like trying to put a wetsuit on. Right, so this little plunger assembly goes in the middle, and then the bearing. Come on. So he goes on like that. The cap goes on like that. Pressure plate goes over the top of the whole thing. And then we use down the springs and screwing all this lot in. So these springs is basically new. When I replaced all the clutch, no, they're not new, sorry. When I replaced all the clutch, there is a length that these springs need to be, you know, like it's got to be between this and that, and it was all checked then. And just out of curiosity, I did check them again when I was pulling all this lot apart. You're not that one. Where are you gone? There we go. I didn't think they'd change, and they haven't. But if you've got it in your hand, then you know, you might as well check it, eh? Apparently this is another known thing with these bikes. Essentially this chain tensioner isn't the best. And it does move up and down quite a bit, and over time it just shakes itself to bits, and then it all falls off and it's bouncing around in here, and it just causes untold amounts of damage. So they're not brilliant. You can get something called a tension tamer, which essentially you're replacing that block with it's just a machined bit of alley with a hole in it in the right place and a pin, that's it. It's about as simple as it gets. And they do work apparently, but you do get like a chain rattle when it starts to go. You can hear it. And if you hear it, just have the side off and have a look-see before it lets go and causes damage. When this was, you know, first pulled apart and whatnot, there was loads of nicks out of the edge of the pressure plate for the clutch. And it's basically where this bit is all flopping about and banging and everything else. And it's the actual tensioner itself that clobbers the side of the clutch. So I machined it all down, which was fine. Actually, do I want to thread lock them just because they come apart? Does it say I have to? I don't think it does, but I might be doing that. Yeah, so it clobbered all the edge of the thing, and I stuck it on the lathe and I just dressed it down. There were still a few tiny little nicks, but I didn't want to take too much off because it's a clutch pressure plate. And literally all I did was rounded it off with a mill file. Those points are still there because obviously they're not going to go, but there aren't any new ones. So the stock one is working quite happily at the minute. So I'm just going with stock. I'm not spending, I think they were like 80 quid for a little block of alley with a hole in a pin. I'm not spending that, that's just ridiculous. So, you know, stock is fine. Stock is absolutely fine. Right, do I need to put thread lock on? And if I don't, well, I'm probably going to anyway. Just because I don't want them coming apart. Dry components, blah, blah, blah. Apply smear of grease. Right, yes, you do thread lock it. Don't forget this, or the clutch won't work. Where are we? Right. So that's the rod in for the clutch. Basically, your slave cylinder's over there and it pushes the pressure plate this way to disengage the clutch. So I've got another gasket for the clutch cover. Which is here. So we can stick that on, get the cover back on, and then really it's just the water pump, I think. Right. Right, so it's really just the water pump left. I've given it a little bit of a clean up, nothing major. But it's just like the mating surfaces and so, you know, they're still discoloured. I've had a blade over them, I've had the Scotch-Brite treatment and stuff. It's perfectly smooth to touch. They're just discoloured, so, you know, it is what it is. I don't really care. All the paint was coming off and goo and crap and everything else. Right, you've got an O-ring. Do you want a new one? You might as well, eh? Everybody else has had one. You don't want to feel left out. Alright, let's have him off. See, it's always worrying when you do this and there's silicone that comes out of it as well. Still, never mind. Yeah. Oh, another thumb's gone. Right, that's better. Okay, what size are you? Have I got one your size? You look to be one of them, only this one is a little bit chunkier. Oh, where's me goo? I don't put rubber grease on absolutely every, well, I tend to now. It just helps them go in the old, basically. He is a little bit chunkier. Come on. Trouble is, you try to line up. There's like a slot in that, and there's a thing on there which ain't going to turn, obviously. Let's try that then. Yes, he's on. Awesome! Oh, you've got an O-ring too. Do you want a new one? Go in there, get tightened up in a minute. It's just this bit. I haven't got one of these O-rings, which is a bit not great. So we've got to be careful with them. This should really get a replacement. If it pees water everywhere, I'll know why. Alright, he's on. He's on. Too long, too short. Oh, you're going to be a long one, and you'll be a short one. So, right then. Basically, all the engine components is back together. Just got to put the frame on it. Need to tighten that up once it's in. Well, that's it. See? Right. Right, that's them. The engine bolts. That's it, look, it's all back together again. I do need to pull the head off, which is why I'm just giving it a quick clean, because I don't want anything falling in there. But I've just got to retorque the head. I ain't going to do a video on it, pointless. Is just take this off. See the bolts that you did up before? Just give them another little tweak, get them up to torque. And that was the whole thing that started all this out, basically. Because you got to 500 miles when we rebuilt the top of this, and you got to retorque it down. It's just that, you know, without a fifth gear there, it was a bit, and then my fork's leaking and stuff like that. It's just, you know, it made sense just to take the bike off the road and do it all now. So that's what I'm going to do next. However, I am glad I had a go at this. I am proper glad. Asbo, in the corner there, he was going to be my first engine teardown. And that was going to be a case of split the cases and basically learn how to do it, because I've never done a split the case teardown on an engine before. But old Bubba here, he turned up in boxes and there wasn't a top to the engine. So day one, it was rebuild the top end, basically down to the crank. And then what I've just done is from the crank down. So all the bottom case, the gearbox and all that lot. The only bit I haven't pulled out now is the crank. And I've seen it twice. Right there. I could undo a couple of bolts and just yank it. That would be fine. So I'm now a lot more confident at having a go at doing Asbo. Just, you know, it's familiar ground basically now. I will still be going through the manual and I will still be following it all religiously. But I am quietly confident to have a go, because it's not as scary as you think it's going to be. It makes a massive difference. Like, you see all these videos where they're explaining gearboxes and ripping stuff out and all that. They're scary as hell, if I'm honest. It really does. But when you've actually physically got one in your hand and you can move the gears in and out and see how the selector drum works with the forks and how it shifts everything, and you know, it takes a lot of the myth out of it, and it don't seem quite so scary anymore. So I'm glad I had a go. I am glad. I dread to think how much this would have cost if I'd have got a garage to do it, because it's took me ages and they're charging like, I don't know, 45 quid an hour. That's a lot of money. But we're in good stead. So I'm going to get this lot done, retorque the head, and then it's a case of shoving the engine back in, which is going to be horrendous. So I was blowing out my arse pulling it out, so it's going to be horrible putting it back in. Si is next door, he's going to give us a hand. But I need to get the car back for 5, which I could easily do that, he says, because Sam needs it later on. But anyway, that's it. Engine is all back together again, and I'm hoping it's going to work. So that's where I'm going to leave it for this one. Thank you ever so much for watching. I do hope you're well and staying safe. We'll see you on the next one. Laters!